Hello, hello, hello there. I am Jaden Avery Love of Optimum Humanity. Love to all, and to all, happy Monday! Happy Monday! How do you do? It's clearly not Monday now, but I'm recording the video for Monday. Alright, so listen. On our Eleggua Monday series, this is the next installment. I called in my ancestors, I prayed, I even danced a little bit, sung a little bit, and as you know, or as you should know, this heightens up your vibration, gets you ready to interact with anything in the spirit world, especially anything of high vibration and benevolence. So what I decided to talk to you about today was what I need. And it came in this list that I just started writing, and then I started to piece it together and put it together, download it, and here we are. All right, so the first thing on my list is loving the self. Okay, now how do you love the self? Okay, my definition is giving the inner self and spirit the attention that it needs. How do you do that though? I am of the school of thought. If you don't know Jaden Avery by now, you should know. I am of the school of thought that you are not this incarnated masculine or feminine body, or this blood bag, this blood and bone bag that we walk through and see, that we walk with and see through. Okay, there was actually an interview with Will Smith, very famous actor. If you don't know, I don't know how you couldn't, but Will Smith, he said, I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't being who I was, because Will Smith, the character Will Smith that I put on for the world, had gotten me all these awards and had gotten me, praise and attention. But it still wasn't me. So he started this vlog, and like one of the first few videos was him jumping out of a plane and skydiving. And he said, when I did that, on this interview I'm talking about, which was like a few weeks ago, he said, when I did that, I was killing off that inauthentic version of myself that I had created. Now, there was a minute ago, I posted something about LGBT youth, and specifically trans, that what happens is we make ourselves safe to be accepted in society, right? And so when we get older, we end up reliving a lot of that trauma that we were just not even going into. We weren't even trying to dig into it because we were trying to run from it. And so basically it's that inauthentic role that you start to create because a world can be cold, right? And specifically to things that come from within and you have no choice about, okay? So how do we take care of this being that we can't see, all right? No one can see this being. You can only feel this being. How do you take care of this being? The answer is healing. And by healing, I mean identifying problem areas, doing shadow work, and finding inauthentic societal constructs, so self-constructs that you got from society. Wow. Why was that so complicated to say? All right. But yeah, so it's basically finding the inauthentic self-constructs. So that's what I was just explaining to you. That what happens is, and it's not just LGBT children. This is black children, would definitely fall under this as well. But this is anything in society that is not accepted, and not easily believed and given validation. Anything of that sort, anything in that realm, counts as something that you will build an inauthentic personality. I mean, there are those diehard people who are always trying to be authentic. That's great, and that is you doing something specifically that you mastered in another life. And so we all need to watch you if that is who we're talking about. However, everyone's not like that, okay? So for those who do create this inauthentic being, and I am definitely one, it's now important to heal. By healing, what do I mean by healing? Because we were talking about this being that I can't see, right? And by taking care of that self, I'm going to tell you, is it going to the salon to get your hair done, to the spa to get a massage, or to the gym to get your body looking better? No, that's not the self I'm talking about. That's that blood bag again. That's that physical appearance, that front. Okay? Because this right here, this is a front. I'm going to tell you this right now. This is a front, honey. Okay? You're not seeing who I am inside. There's no way for you to. It's up to me to reflect that light. I'm getting ahead of myself. To reflect that light and bring it out here for you to actually see. If you had a paper cut, all right, and do you need an ace bandage? No, everyone's going to be like, you're mad dramatic, like calm down. But if you break your arm and I show up with a Band-Aid, you're going to be like, what the fuck is your problem? God. Like that. Yeah, because the thing is that with healing, you need to find what is hurt and then heal it with a specific brand of medicine and target it out specifically for what you need to heal. Simply put. So how do you know where the pain is? That's what it leads us to. So this list is like a whole thing. You're gonna hear me say I am of the school of thought a couple of times too. So how do you target out that pain? How do you find that pain? It's called introspection, introspective analyses. All right. So the definition that I got from Google, I'm gonna read to you. Examination of one's own conscious thoughts. Okay. Examining your conscious thoughts. So what is that? What does that look like, to examine your conscious thoughts? So I'm going to give you an example that it is not. I'm going to give you a quick little example, and I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. Sometimes, and I have to be honest about this, y'all, like this video is for the purpose of me to tell you what I need in order to target out the people who are struggling the same ways that I am. So I'm going to talk about the things that are important to me. And also I'm going to be authentic, and I'm not going to hold back my punches. I'm going to tell you who I am in hopes that you'll use this not to, diminish me or make fun of me, but to help yourself and be honest with yourself whether you have these problems or not. That is definitely my biggest goal here, okay? So let's talk about this example. Okay, so look, and it's not, and then when I say it, it's not going to even be that bad. You're in the kitchen, you're cooking, and you're cooking for you and a very loved one, a very, very loved and respected person in your life that you would never hurt. But one time, and this is not just one time, this happens not a lot, but this happens like, at least I can see this happening like once a week. At least once a week. At very least. Alright? Now, what I'll think is, what if I just took this hot skillet with all this oil and I just smacked them right in the face? And it's like, these are these random thoughts. These are these random thoughts that come to you, and I just want you to get the idea that it has nothing to do with who you are, first of all. All right? First of all, these things just come into your mind. They're being fed all the time. Little ideas here and there. Commercials, the radio, things from outside of you, things from inside of you, like what I'm talking about. And it's definitely real that I could be reliving maybe an argument that me and this person had, and I was just like, you're still not being honest about that moment, even though we're happy with each other. That could be the truth. But I'm telling you that this does indeed happen. This does indeed happen, okay? So now in our little example, we're starting to understand that there is, there's dialogue, there's things happening in here. With your okay and without your okay. There's things that are happening instinctively, right? Now, I am of the school of thought that your output is equal to and has everything to do with your input. So what you're taking in, okay? Maybe if I pay close attention to my input, I'll have a better output. So what you're taking in, all right? And so what happens is now you're starting to think, well, what if I pay close attention to my input and maybe I'll have a better output. You know what I'm saying? Now it leads you to that thought, right? And I just want to say here that the positivity that you take in, it gets developed and it gets put right back out. But if you take negativity in, it will get developed, it will get processed, and it comes right back out. Here's my example for that. So last night, right? Last night's YouTube video before going to sleep made you sympathize with a message that said that the world is a cold place. Okay? And it came from, and because you sympathized and empathized with it because it must have been a good video. It must have been a video that somebody was being honest and truthful about their feelings, or maybe they were reenacting something that happens on the daily basis. But either way, you sympathized with a message that consisted of the world is a cold place. Now, the next day, somebody does something that slightly looked like what you saw in the video. What are you going to do now? Now you have all the fire behind you now. You're gaslit, right? Is that, I don't know if that's right. But anyway, you have all the fire behind you, and that's what's pushing you to go off on this person. So you go off on this person, and what do? You leave your imprint from that video that you watched last night that you sympathized with, right? And you put it on them. And so do you think they're going to sit it down and be like, oh, no, that's not true? No, they're going to understand that pain and that authentic place in which that message came from, and they're going to react from there. And their reaction will say, I am not doing what you say I'm doing. Right? So what happened is you just set off a butterfly effect. Okay? And it was based off of you taking something in and regurgitating it out. Now, all right. I want to say, though, I am of the school of thought, okay, that whatever you put out, you're going to take right back in. Okay? So now that you've done that and you went off on this person, now what happens? Life is going to call you bluff. And that person's going to give you fire back. So here we are in a situation where we're seeing that one person, because the thing that you were supposed to do that day was not have this moment, right? You were supposed to meditate before you went to sleep like normal and not have this moment. So the next day, you were supposed to bypass that person that you had a problem with and go right on to the person that was going to be your lover for the next 50 years. And that's how it happens. Time and unforeseen occurrence. But the truth about it is that you are this spiritual being and you could have stopped it a little bit, right? So now that you have seen negativity, perceived negativity on your output and on your input, what do? How do you make it better? We start to train our inner self. But how do you train that inner self? Because again, we don't even know where he is or she is. Like, we don't even know what this being really is. We don't know. How do you train them? How do you train this being that's inside of you? And honestly, that's soaking up information from videos that you're falling asleep on and reacting on it the next day, causing you problems in your physical world, honey. How are we supposed to train that being? I can't even see the nigga. I'm too much. I'm dramatic. We're going to have a lot of fun here. A, become conscious of become conscious of the inner dialogue, which leads to you doing something about it. making actions. So becoming conscious of that inner dialogue. This is what we've been talking about the whole time. You have become conscious of that. You have become conscious of the inner dialogue through doing this introspective analysis. And so now it's going to lead you to doing something about making it better, because consciousness always wants to solve the problem. Consciousness wants to round it out. Consciousness wants to smooth things over, like the way that a mussel makes a pearl, right? That's what happens. You know, you get some sand, you get stuff stuck in your mouth. You get, hey, sand on your input. You get something rough on your input. And what do? You smooth it out. Smooth it out. Smooth it out, and then you put it on your regurgitation. You put it on your output. Well, then somebody takes the pearl from your mouth and kills you, but we're not gonna go there. Backtrack. We're gonna backtrack a little bit. Okay? Alright. And so B is, I was about to say two. B is become blah, 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 supporting your inner self by keeping a ginger and sweet and easy mannered inner dialogue. Damn. By keeping it a sweet and easy mannered inner dialogue, you're teaching yourself that you're not the enemy. You're teaching yourself that what I have for me is nothing but the sweetest, nothing but the greatest. I have all love for myself. So you are supporting yourself by showing yourself care and that ginger voice that's coaching you along and saying, no, try a little harder for that. Today I had to do that, and I had to ask myself when I was about to go get a cigarette. It's not that, yes, cigarettes are bad for you, but they're bad for you, you got cancer. But I'm saying, before you make that decision to go do that thing that you already have agreed you're gonna stop, right? I've already agreed to myself I'm gonna quit I have no smoking signs around my apartment. You can't even see them. There's one's like under here, like, so that way when I wake up, I'm right there. Anyway, I told myself, I said, before you go out to get this cigarette, just wondering, are you trying? Are you trying right now to not be smoking? That's the question. It's the difference between the action that that you don't want to do anymore, and not taking the action, which would be the quote unquote good thing. In between there lies you asking yourself, but am I trying to do what's right? Am I really, honestly, am I trying to be the optimal human that I know I possess within? That spirit is well within the means of being. Am I at least trying? And this is your inner dialogue, honey. You can choose to lie to yourself. You can lie to yourself. I want you to know that's very, very possible. But I'll leave that there. And C, carrying out an authentic identity with which to make corresponding actions. So here we are back at Will Smith, right? Now that you have killed off that other societally contrived and societally constructed person, now that you have jumped out the plane like Will Smith did, right? And killed that other being, now you're going to start to make actions that match the new self that you put on the outside, all right? And just like that, you're done. Psych! Did I get you? I really hope I got you, because, like, it was in my notes. Like, hold on, I got it. Psych! I don't know if you spelled... I didn't want you to see my spelling, so I just... but anyway, no, you're not done. Now that you've made these corresponding actions, you're not done. The way that we learn is through repetition. And we have to keep it up. We have to keep this shit up, all right? Now, there's one more thing I wanted to say. corresponding actions. We have to learn through repetition. And we have to, because we are beings of habit. That's what I want to say. That we are beings of habit. And so we have got to learn through repetition. We have got to do this process, this whole thing, over and over and over and over. Okay? Like I sing, like, you know how, like, people who sing, they pronounce the words, like, and over. Like, you have to, all of it, all over and over and over and over, because this is how we learn. And it gets easier. I'm going to tell you, it gets easier. But at first, clap for yourself when you fall asleep trying to meditate. Honey, clap for yourself. It's an applause moment, because you were trying to meditate. Sometimes it's not about actually having done the action. Sometimes it's about literally, are you trying? Are you? Are you at least trying? Are you putting forth an effort? And sometimes that effort, where there's a will, there's a way, and that will carry you the fuck through. Finally, guidance. Guidance. Following after the things that make your heart go yum. The things that make your heart scream and make your heart light up. When you follow these things, what are you doing? You're taking input, right? You're going and chasing after something that makes you light up. Well, who are you? You're the spirit, right? You are a being of light. Okay? Do you understand what that means? I have this saying on my wall that I tell my clients all the fucking time. And I say, I'm looking at it. If light is information, then what is darkness? Well, you can be informed, or you could know nothing. You could be ignorant. Darkness is nothing but ignorance. It's the lack of information. Light is information. It's everything is on the table. You can see everything in my room. You can't. But you can see everything in this frame. But where there's darkness, there just simply is no light. Where do you see the darkest portion here? What I see is the darkest portion. You could look at my painting at the top, right? Or you could look right here going down, because the light is not hitting it. And therefore there's more shadow being created over there. Does that mean that there's not still beautiful flowers on this side? No. No. It just means that the information is not carrying through because something is in the way. What's in the way here is the angle of this. I'm very, very into science, and I love the way that our world constantly tells us who we are and gives us our lines, so to speak. So guidance, and you should be guided. That doesn't sound right. But you should be guided by the star. There's a card in by what lights up your heart, and then also your heart chakra is always a star. They always put it as a star, and I think that's really beautiful. Or a lot of times they put it as a star. The Star of David, of course, or the Star of Creation is what I call it. And you have to follow these things that make your heart glow, or else are you trying to understand this inner being, right? So we tell on ourselves all the time, okay? We love to be honest, and a lot of times, if we're not honest, we could fool others, but only to a certain extent, because we can't fool ourselves. And this leads me to another thing that I wanted to say is that, when you have a problem with somebody, when somebody is giving you a bad output, you have a choice in that moment to say, I accept it, I don't accept it, or I accept it, give it here, and I'm going to give it back. Okay? So when someone's giving you that, just remember what I always say to my clients. I know it sucks to have to live with what they did, but guess what? They have to live with themselves. And that's their karma. So you have a choice to take their karma on, or you can let them experience their own journey And what is the problem with that? Did they what they called you ugly? They called you. I'm not saying that words do not hurt and that you should let them go. I'm saying, did they call you a name? Did they say something that you know is not true? Honey, this is their journey. And guess what they're talking about? Your blood bag. They don't know. We really get this into your consciousness. You don't know who Will Smith is. You don't know who Jada Pinkett is. You know I don't know who Janet Jackson is. That's my icon. Her blood bag. That's what because her blood bag is her body is the thing that I've been watching. And I've been putting my own, there are definitely outputs that she has given me because like the way that I sing is always in a head voice. And it's because I grew up on Janet Jackson. So I sing and I talk in a very, I can go deep, but I can't even sing that deeply. I can't sing that deeply. It sounds like I'm putting on stuff. Because my vocal cords are not used to that. We learn through repetition. We are creatures of habit. Because I was singing, pleasure principle, you know, I was doing that shit. And that was probably a bad example. You know? But it's just, I just wanna let you know, on a serious note, we're probably like the only serious note that we're gonna have this video, but I just want to let you know that when somebody hands you the wet rag, when they hand you the shitty end of the stick, you have a choice to take it or leave it. Please leave it. Don't be a part of their journey. You're on your own. You're loving yourself. Okay, you're supporting yourself. You're training yourself. You're doing introspective analyses. And so therefore, you are getting to know yourself. What is life besides doing this? I don't like this, throw it away. I like this, keep it here. I don't like this, throw it away. I like this, keep it here. What is that's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing in life. I like purple. I don't like green. I'm not going to have many things of green in my house because I don't really like green like that. Now I do. Since I started planting, actually, I love green. But you see, I love purple more. I love purple more. I got 2 different types of purple here, but only one type of green, and it's all the way in the corner. Right? So, yeah, that's what I had to tell you. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And, yeah, love to all. Just keep on putting out those beautiful, beautiful outputs, y'all. And all we can do is create. Because when you shine your light, that makes me shine my light. And when we shine together, we're in harmony. Being. We are being spirit. We are being creative beings. We are being gods. And that's what you need. That's what I need for myself. I love you. It didn't stop.